Welcome, everyone, to the Cloud Quest tournament hosted by AWS and 42 Adelaide. With so many people registered for this event all around the world, I think we have 46 campuses participating. I took the liberty of recording this so you can watch it in your own time zone and potentially at your own leisure when you might be waking up, as this time zone won't suit everyone. And apologies for those that English is not your first language. I'm hoping by using YouTube, we might actually be able to add some subtitles to this to give you some more context. To introduce myself, my name is Aaron. I'm a solution architect for AWS in Australia. I hosted the very first Cloud Quest event with 42 2 years ago, and we helped shape the tournament mode that is now part of the actual game. Previously, we actually exported the game data into a third-party dashboard that we created for the event. I wanted to give you all a brief history on who is Amazon and how did cloud computing come about before we kicked off the event. And that's what I'm going to do today for predominantly most of this time. In 1995, as the start of the internet boom, Amazon.com opened as an online bookseller as a chance to figure out what could we use the internet for. The birthplace of Amazon was a very simple warehouse, as you can see here. Pretty easy desk, nothing too fancy. Um, Basic computer by today's standards, some bookshelving above me for book storage, and a printer over the other side of the room. And I don't think I've seen a printer in a few years. Thank goodness. Um, what you can tell from this picture is that we didn't set out to be a technology company, but with the company's leadership principles, one being customer obsession, which means to start with the customer and work backwards from their problem. We constantly found ourselves using technology to solve their problems over the years. Now, who knows this guy? Jeff Bezos was the founder and CEO for many years, and he summarized this really well on something that I wanted to share with you today. So, customers are always beautifully, wonderfully dissatisfied. Even when they report being happy and business is great, even when they don't yet know it, customers want something better. And your desire to delight customers will drive you to invent on their behalf. Now, customers have changed a lot over the years, and we can't always predict what customers want. But in saying that, three things won't change with our customers. One, they'll want lower prices. Two, they want faster delivery. And three, they always want a better selection of product. So, with a focus on these things with our customer obsession, our new warehouses, named now Amazon Fulfillment Centers, which is where we store our products, has vastly changed. This is a fulfillment center in North America where you can see hundreds of thousands of shelves all moving around by robots. Now, if you order something on Amazon, once you've checked out, these robots find your shelf that has your product and maneuver it closer to the edge and let a robot picker arm grab your selected product, box it, tape it up, stamp it with a delivery notice, and then send it out for delivery in just a matter of minutes. This is a vastly different warehouse than the one we saw back in 1995 and shows how far technology has changed the process to make this more efficient. Make it more efficient, but also make it more efficient at scale. We're using technology here like robotics, IoT with the sensors for all of the robots. We have AI and machine learning doing demand forecasting and efficiency planning for how the robots and shelving moves around the fulfillment center. And all of this has to happen with data, lots and lots of data, and using that data in close to real time to make the best case decisions. Amazon now has a really broad range of products and services and makes us very different to many other technology companies that are out there today. First was the e-commerce, like we just spoke about. The started with books, but now offers a huge selection of products. Amazon Web Services, which is where I work, is cloud computing for things like compute, storage, data, and AI and ML services. We have over 200 fully featured services that you can provision on demand using the AWS cloud. We make physical devices like Kindle for reading and Amazon Echo for smart speakers. We have our own video streaming services with Amazon Prime. There's Prime Air, which is a drone delivery service integrated with our Amazon fulfillment centers, offering same-day delivery for customers in a handful of countries, where those customers would like their products delivered in 1 hour or less. And I couldn't help myself to put a picture of a rocket in here. Project Kuiper is an initiative to increase global broadband access through a constellation of over 3,000 satellites in low Earth orbit. So look out for that in your country coming soon. It really is a wide range of business that makes you wonder why and how Amazon got involved and how we manage such disparate businesses. The answer ties back to innovating on behalf of customers, no matter what their needs are. The common thread across all of these businesses was a need or a pain point our customers were having in their lives, and using working backwards to invent on their behalf, even in areas that were outside the scope of where our core business was. So Amazon approach to innovation is in these steps. Put the customer first, work backwards from their needs, constantly experiment, and think big. But be patient. Not everyone is going to understand the vision straight away. Now, we did this with the idea of how we could change the way people do their shopping, and I thought it would be a great example to show you today.
Four years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So, how does it work? We used computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no checkout. No, seriously.
Now, I actually got to visit one of those stores in Seattle when I was over visiting AWS for work, and it felt a little bit like stealing the first time I did it, but I must admit it was very cool. Over time, we've given that technology back to our customers. So I know the Just Walk Out technology that they mentioned is actually available for our customers to use, and we have it now in a handful of different places in Australia. Notably, some football stadiums have them to get people in and out of getting food while the game is on. and I've seen it in airports as well. So it's out there, and that's obviously where it all started from. Now, over time, from working with Amazon, we realized that we'd become really good at building data centers with IT resources, and we'd built them all over the world to support the Amazon business. And at that point, we had a thought, and that was, what if we could sell IT resources on demand to people that needed it? So in 2006, gave birth to the cloud named Amazon Web Services, and that's where cloud computing started. So in 2006, we had three services. We had compute, we had database, and we had storage. Uh, Now, that were the three most simple things to build a website back then. And now, as I've said before, we actually have over 200 services that you can use on AWS to build solutions in the cloud. Now, many of you are probably wondering, well, who runs on AWS or what's running on the AWS cloud? And we have tens of thousands of customers, but I thought I'd share two with you today. Um, the first one is Epic Games. Epic Games has attracted a lot of gamers to play its online games, including notably its free-to-play last man standing game, Fortnite. I imagine a handful of you have played that before. Interestingly, about Fortnite, back in 2018, they released some stats saying that they had 200 million players worldwide, and at any one time during a game, it could peak at 8.3 million concurrent players. So this all runs on AWS. For Epic Games, scale has been key as it grew its user base by more than 100 times in 12 months due to the game's popularity. So just massive. Now, if you're not in your room playing Fortnite, you might be down the other end of the house on a different screen watching Netflix. Now, if you think 8.3 million was a lot of concurrent users for Epic Games, Netflix says that it has about 80 million concurrent interactions with infrastructure on AWS as customers perform actions of streaming on their application. So, in just two of our customers alone, that's 88 million people in their houses on devices consuming entertainment that is powered by the AWS cloud. That's pretty phenomenal. So, why would you use the cloud? To understand why you would use the cloud, you'd almost need to understand how you would have done it before AWS was around. Building your own data center was generally meant you would rent a space in a third-party provider where they would have fixed racks that you could fill with your own IT hardware, things like servers and data storage and um, network switches and routers, all the things to provide connectivity back to your customers. What was challenging about this is the long lead times to procure hardware. And once you'd bought your hardware, it took it even more time to buy additional hardware if you wanted to scale up, like in the case of Epic Games. And this could take weeks to months. And you weren't always ready for when you'd need that demand. So you would have capacity limits and issues. Um, no matter how much you could use or whether or not you'd provisioned too much or too little, you were constantly faced with physical and financial constraints. So with that, like what would have you done if you wanted to go to market with your new web application? You would have first gone out and bought some hardware, put it in a data center and tested your idea. You would have ordered, installed, racked, configured, and tested your solution. And this could have taken a handful of months. Um, and you know what? You may not have even been an expert. in building data centers, networking, or even server administration. So this could have taken longer than you first expected. And so it looked like you had a good idea, and that's great. So you went and bought more to make sure you could meet what you thought was going to be your customer demand. And you'd hope that your crystal ball was somewhat correct and you'd guess the capacity of the demand that you needed, but also that you wouldn't grow too quickly, that you'd outgrow this footprint so fast that you couldn't serve all the customers that you were acquiring. Now, switch that to a cloud product launch. You would develop a recipe or a script of what your architecture looks like in a declarative file. So think a YAML file or a JSON file. You'd feed that into AWS, and then within minutes, it would build that environment to your specification in whatever geographical region that you wanted, where your customers that you had that you need to serve. And if you suddenly needed more, you could do that due to the elasticity of the provider like AWS. Now, if you needed to scale that up to meet demand and go live, you could just do that in a matter of minutes. Now, there's also the flip side of that as well. Now, imagine if this wasn't a success story, but rather an experiment. Say you didn't get enough signups to your application. Well, you haven't invested in a data center full of hardware, and you don't have to pay that back across a fixed term of say 3 to 5 years. You can just switch it off because it's on demand. This helps you when demand is high, but also when demand is low, and you could scale it down or completely switch it off. That is just a brief mental model and just one of the key values of cloud computing. There are many more, but you're going to experience some of these firsthand with the AWS Cloud Quest tournament to build up your AWS cloud skills. So let's talk about Cloud Quest. AWS Cloud Quest is a real life simulation game that helps you gamify your learning and puts you in conversational like scenarios as you look to fix business problems with cloud technology in the game. It can be quite addictive, which is why we've put it into a tournament mode, and they've done a really good job of building this game. Now, there are many roles that you can use inside Cloud Quest, but we are going to use the foundational role called Cloud Practitioner. And in this role, there are 11 quests that you will earn to get your AWS Cloud Quest Cloud Practitioner credential badge. This badge you can use on things like LinkedIn or in your resume to show that you have verified your participation and your knowledge in the game. AWS actually offers a whole lot of role-based certification to validate your knowledge, experience, and skills. From foundational roles like the cloud practitioner that we will be looking more towards. There's exams that go the whole way up to specialist skills in things like security, networking, and machine learning, for instance, that you can see here. These micro credentials are a great way to show employers your knowledge of cloud computing. The Cloud Quest Cloud Practitioner role that we are playing in the tournament is a great place to start building up your skills towards the exam that you would see here on the left side for the foundational exam. So how are we going to learn about Cloud Quest and where is all the information going to be stored for all this? Well, I'm not going to run through a lot of it today in this video. We're all going to head over and use a Discord server that hopefully as a part of your registration, you'll start getting information on how you can join. Now, we're going to set that up with multiple channels. There's going to be private channels in the Discord server where you can join your campus and you can then liaise with your students that are a part of your campus as about how you will go to do your strategy and even ask questions on how to complete some of those quests. There will also be just some general channels. There'll be ones where people like myself or the other moderators from 42 Adelaide will give you updated information on how to join the Cloud Quest game, how to sign up, what the activation code is, some of the responsibilities that you may have to participate appropriately, and any kind of information and announcements that we might want to do throughout the game timeline. Now, don't be too concerned if you feel like you didn't get to start on time, or that because of your time zone, you're hearing this later than other campuses. We've deliberately made this event run for 4 days, and that gives everyone ample time to have the ability to play the game in between your studies, in between work, and if any of you find the time to sleep. So I think while you are playing, others will be sleeping, and vice versa. So don't worry if you don't meet the tournament start time that we've listed up there. I think for many of you, you're just going to have to figure out, based on the start time that I've listed on the 11th of December, basically do a search to do the conversion from that time in Adelaide time to whatever your time zone is or wherever your city is, and you'll start to understand when the kickoff time will be in your country. Now, if you take nothing away from something that I've said today, is don't start playing the quests until the tournament begins. If you complete any points prior to the start time that I've listed up here, they won't go on the leaderboard. The leaderboard will only count the points that you accrue in the time from the start to the finish of the tournament. So I recommend all of you going over to the Cloud Quest Discord server, having a look on there is a walkthrough on how to sign up to AWS Skill Builder, which is our learning portal, and then activate the Cloud Quest game. The first thing that you can do, and you can do this ahead of time, is that you can create your avatar. So what you're going to look like as you walk around the city. But when you take on that first quest, or when you want to compete any of the other actions that can score you points, I would hold off until that start time. Additionally, we will have the end on the 15th, and then sometime after that, we will do a form of closing ceremony for, there'll be some prizes for the individuals that have the highest individual score, and then also the campus that has totaled the most points collectively. The dashboard inside the game should be able to keep you up to date with the real-time scores as you come and go, and as other campuses come online and participate. You may find that the rankings will change throughout the 4 days as we see people find availability to play the game. So that's enough from me. I'm very appreciative to have you all here and that you've all registered. I think it's going to be a great event. It'll be nice to see you all over on the Discord server. Reach out to me if you're having problems with the game, but there is only one of me and there's more than 500 of you. So I think that's really important that you also use the students that are around you if you have questions. But if you're having problems getting into the game, please let me know. And if I don't get back to you straight away, don't be disconcerted. It may be just that I'm sleeping, and I will try and routinely check the Discord server throughout my day, and you should be able to get an answer back from either myself, one of the other 42 Adelaide operators, or potentially one of your students that has already solved that answer as well. So let's all go have some fun, learn some cloud skills, and may the best student win at the end of the day. All right, good luck, and see you over on Discord.